Hello everybody, Scott Haskin here, and we're talking about the song Away with a Stranger. Obviously the story that I was working off of was Away in a Manger, and it's a little bit different than what I went with, but kind of just basically the connection was just the childhood time of life for Jesus and then for our character here in the story. I don't really know where the idea came from, but as I started thinking about, old-time movies and thinking about how scientists are portrayed, the mad scientist who was experimenting without really any knowledge of what they were doing, you had to start somewhere. Scientists just didn't know things that they could work off of. We had to experiment and dissect and work out theories and things before we got to where we are now. So just thinking kind of along those lines and the the idea of just get in the rickety van, there's a bike in the back for you, kid, kind of story, worked off of that to build this. And I thought about the scientist working on souls and experimenting with them and what happens to the body while the soul's out of the body. It's just going to basically lay there and decay and rot, and hopefully the soul will get back in the body before that happens and can maintain control and take care of it and whatever it needs to do. But in this case, that certainly wasn't going to happen. And I really like I loved the Twilight Zone. That was a huge show for me. So to come up with something that has a bit of an extra twist at the end, I thought was really nice. And that's one of the things I loved about the Twilight Zone, is every time you thought you knew where the show was going, it would just take another turn and you'd be like, oh, I did not see that coming. And of course, the second time you watch it, you're like, oh, I forgot about that. And you could never, really get a grasp on how it was going to go. So I thought that a little bit of a twist ending and something that was, none of these are really going to be happy endings. I mean, that's why it's called haunted and, deadly and all that. But in this one in particular, it's, it just kind of would go on for eternity. And what would change the conditions here? Unless somebody found the scientist and realized what was going on and had the capability or the intellect or experience to do something about it that would be helpful. But the body's decaying, so I don't really know what you would do in that situation. So thinking about things along that line, I really wanted the music to be something that was playful and childlike, but also showed the fear of the soul being outside of the body, especially being childlike, not having the experience to really come up with some ideas of how to get out of it, or if there were any ideas it could come up with. But really just that fear and crying out for its mother. And it just, when I was developing the sounds and working with some of the libraries that I have, I stumbled across one that just really seemed, good and strong. And it didn't even occur to me how much it sounded like a child crying out for its mother until about halfway through the song. And then I realized it, and I was like, wow, I was really just paying attention to the sonic quality of the sound and not what it was actually saying. And I don't know what the word was or words were that were programmed into it, but with the effects that I put on it and that and stretching it a little bit, it definitely sounded like mommy. And I think that is just so haunting and perfect and helpless and powerful. So it really worked well for the song. And then just using the, Away in a Manger melody played on a music box really just added to that childhood feel to it. So overall, I was really happy with the song. I thought it was a good, solid story. And again, narrating in that narrator type voice that I was going for. And I did keep through the 3 albums, although it wasn't what I had initially planned. I was actually very happy with it because I couldn't do what I wanted to do, and it would really be a copy of someone else anyway. So that's Away with a Stranger.